it was me. I was troubled by the serious nature of the allegations that so troubled by the serious allegations that I arranged through a third party to meet with Martin a few days later. The person I met was struggling with his conscience, but as you see him today, displaying a stoic determination to bring justice to those wronged and cheated by Wirral Social Services Department, our Social Services Department. Mr. Deputy Mayor, within 10 minutes of meeting with Martin, I realised that he was an honest, truthful man. Why senior officers of this council couldn't see the truthfulness and act upon it is perhaps a question for later. But it is an answer we must find, as it is fundamental to how we as a council move forward. I am proud to say that I have maintained regular contact with Martin from that day to this, and have kept with him on every step of his tortuous path in his endeavours to weed out lies, intimidation and illegality amongst council officers, and blatant ineptitude, and perhaps worse, from councillors. During the past 10 years, Martin and his family have been made to suffer financially, emotionally and physically at the hands of both officers and members of this council, some of whom have left office under a cloud or otherwise, but more remain accountable, and the public should know that not a single councillor, not one, Mr. Deputy Mayor, has yet tendered their resignation on this issue. And you know the culpability of senior members runs deep, Mr. Deputy Mayor. In November of 2009, a senior Labour Party member wrote, "Let's be quite clear what we are dealing with here. We are not dealing with intentional fraud. We are not dealing with decisions taken in malice. We are not dealing with decisions for personal gain. And the crowning glory, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we are not dealing with hiding wrongdoing and corruption that needs to be rooted out and punished. Wrong on every account, Mr. Deputy Mayor." Mr. Deputy Mayor, it's up to others to decide why Councillor Roberts was able to speak so emphatically and whilst doing so attack the best interests of the most vulnerable in our borough. Councillor Roberts, you sat on the Charging Policy Review Group in 2005, and that group minuted the special charging policy as unfair. You do have questions to answer, and as to why you felt able to write and speak those words, knowing what you knew. We, the council, haven't received either an apology or a resignation. This issue can only be concluded once we have provided all the answers that our taxpayers deserve. This has cost them millions of pounds, and they now require and deserve the answers. Last week, our colleague Councillor Kelly drew similarities to Watergate. Remember, it wasn't the original issue that brought Nixon down, it was the cover-up. At this point, we don't have the answers to why this was covered up, and who was involved in that cover-up, and that is why we need a public inquiry into this issue. We are still looking for some answers. Why didn't certain people take part in this investigation? Is there something else still being hidden? How did we allow a culture to develop within DAS, within our council, that got so toxic that emails were written that read, "Once we go for reimbursement, the cover is blown," and "I suggest we take this to committee in the political downtime"? How did a culture develop that allowed that on the same day Martin requested access to a file in DAS, an employee was asked by a senior manager in DAS to shred documents from his personal file? When this allegation was put to the senior manager, it was denied in writing. That's where good corporate leadership comes in. Councillor Harney neatly paraphrased the situation last week when he said, Councillor Fabs has become so much a part of the council's problems. What is needed, and needed immediately, is for us as a council, collectively, to back the strong and effective leadership of Councillor Green and to hold each and every one of us to account. Deputy Mayor, we need to shine the spotlight into the murky corners of alleged complicity or failures on behalf of both officers and elected councillors. Councillor Fowles, during your term in office, and specifically during your management of this issue, you have damaged the proud once name of Wirral. Because since this issue came to light,